but your information is nothing similar to the information of those who were at the scene and used information from those at the scene.
Time.
Answer the question.
Can you answer?
Yeah, repeat the question.
So your description of when that incident occurred does not fit any of the times when the witnesses themselves stated that it occurred.
Only the time.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Maybe excused. Next witness.
Defense would like to call Jordan Abrams to the stand.
Please get yourself sworn.
Good evening, Miss Abrams.
Good evening.
For the benefit of the jury, can you please state your occupations?
I own and operate Cranberry Marine Constructions and serve my country in the United States Air Force.
And where do you live?
I live on 1111 Ocean Drive, Cranberry Shores, New Jersey.
And who do you live with?
Well, it used to be me, my husband, my elderly mother, and our two girls, Remy and Jada. However, 6 years ago, my husband passed away due to cancer.
I see. And how old are Remy and Jada?
Well, now they're both 16. However, at the time of the incident, they were both 13.
I see. And you mentioned an incident. When was this?
It was Friday, August 30th, 2013.
And where were you on this date?
I had just returned from to my home from a hotel that I was staying at with my family.
Why were you in a hotel?
Hurricane Sandy had a few years ago passed through Cranberry Shores, so our house was unsafe at the time.
I see.
Or prior to that, I'm sorry.
I see. And what was the first thing that you did when you returned home to Cranberry Shores?
Well, we'd been away for a while, so the first thing we did was start to unpack, and then we all decided to go down to the boardwalk for dinner.
I see. And what happened after that?
Well, we returned home, and it was pretty late, so we were all really tired, so we all went to bed, except for my mother, who decided to stay up downstairs and read.
I see. And how much sleep did you get that night?
Well, I was only asleep for about an hour when I was awoken to the sound of glass breaking.
How did you react?
This alarmed me, so I immediately got up and checked on my kids, and then looked over the railing at my mother.
Did you see anything strange?
No, everything seemed okay, so I just went back to bed.
I see. And was that the end of it?
No, I was just about to fall back asleep when all of a sudden I heard my mother scream out. I was terrified.
What was it about her scream that made you so terrified?
Well, she screamed, "Please don't hurt me."
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Your Honor,
Response?
if I may, this statement here is an excited utterance and is therefore allowable under the MockTrial rulebook.
If I may, Your Honor. Counsel has not yet established that there was a stressful moment, nor that that statement made by Ms. Candace Abrams was caused by that stressful moment. Therefore, that statement does not fall under the excited utterance exception to hearsay.
Anything back?
I believe that the fact that it was a scream and it contained "please don't hurt me" is inherently excited.
And it terrified the witness.
Yes.
Your objection.
See, and would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
What about her scream made you so terrified?
Well, she screamed out, "Please don't hurt me."
I see. And what did you do in reaction to this?
I immediately jumped out of bed, grabbed the Glock 17 I knew was sitting on my dresser, and went out to the balcony.
And what did you see?
I saw 4 intruders in my own home standing directly over my mother. One appeared to be holding a rifle.
How did this make you feel?
I was more scared than I have ever been in my life. I knew I had to act immediately.
So what was your plan?
I didn't really have a plan. There was no time. All I knew is that I had to protect my mother.
I see. So how did you act?
Well, I followed my training and aimed for the torso. I'm sorry. I fired 1 shot directly at it, and the intruder fell.
Why did you aim for the torso?
The torso is the largest target on the body, and 1 shot to the torso would immediately incapacitate the intruder.
I see. And how did the other intruders react to this?
Well, most of them seemed stuck in place. However, one started inching towards the door.
I see. So what did you do after that?
I told them all to get down and drop any weapons that they had, and fired 1 warning shot into the ceiling.
Did anything happen after that?
I told Remy to call the police, and I went to open the door.
I see. And just to reiterate, for the benefit of the jury, how many intruders were there?
4.
And how many shots were fired?
1 actual shot followed by 1 warning shot.
And who was shot?
The intruder standing directly over my mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Ross?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed? Chris Pavano is the one who pointed out to everyone at a town hall meeting that you weren't the one who killed the ace of clubs, right?
Yes, but I never claimed that I was. It was all the media who did that.
You never corrected the media, isn't that right?
I didn't really want to go through the effort of doing it when it didn't really slander my image. I didn't really feel a need.
By doing so, pointing it out to everyone, Chris Pavano annoyed you, right?
He annoyed me, yes.
Chris Pavano is the same one who you blamed. You saw some graffiti on signs at your house, isn't that right?
Objection, Your Honor. This calls for a mischaracterization of the witness.
Response?
Your Honor, the witness is free to protect her character if she pleases, and she may respond whether or not she immediately blamed Chris Pavano or not.
Anything else?
Yes, I believe the question itself mischaracterized my witness.
Question was, you blamed Chris Pavano for the graffiti.
Correct.
I'm going to allow it to cross.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
Chris Pavano is the one who you blamed when you saw that graffiti on your house, right?
I didn't immediately blame him, but I came to a logical conclusion since he had been doing this in the past to other houses.
You go as far in your statement to say you were sure it was him, isn't that right?
Yes.
You never watched who did it, right?
No, I wasn't there, but based on what has happened in the past with him and his friends, I concluded that.
Chris Pavano is the same one whose mother organized those pickets in front of your house, right?
Yes, she did.
A lot of people attended those pickets.
Yes.
Let's talk about August 30th. That morning, you decided to go down to your shore house in Cranberry Shores. You took your Glock with you, right?
Yes, I did.
And your taser?
Yes, I wanted to start putting things in my home in the safe that I have for my weapons.
And there was no electricity in that home besides the generator, right?
No, there was not.
Because of that, your video surveillance system was not working, right?
That's correct.
And your alarm wasn't working?
That's correct.
That night, after you went to bed, you were woken by some noise, some glass breaking, isn't that right?
Yes.
And you immediately got up to go check on your kids, right?
Yes.
You went into their rooms, which are on opposite ends of the hallway, right?
Yes.
And you looked down at your mother to see if she was okay, right?
Yes.
And you knew it was your mother down there, even from the top of the stairs?
I didn't assume there would be anyone else in my house, and she was in the place where I left her when I went to bed, so I...
So you knew it was her, right?
Based off of those conclusions, yes.
After that, you went back to your room to take your Glock out of the safe, right?
Yes.
Left it out on your dresser, isn't that right?
Yes, the glass had alarmed me, so I wanted, just in case something else happened that night, I'd be prepared.
But then you went to bed. But that only lasted a few minutes, right?
Yes.
You heard some more noise downstairs, so you got up, right?
Yes.
And you went over to your dresser to grab your Glock, right?
That's correct.
You exited your room, right?
Yes.
You'd say that took roughly 2 or 3 seconds?
Yeah.
You mentioned on direct that the first place you went to was the balcony, isn't that right?
Afterwards, yes.
You went a few other places in your house that night, right? Before you went to the balcony?
Well, I mean, I did check on my kids, but after that I went directly to the balcony.
So you went, again, all the way to opposite ends of the hallway?
Yes, to make sure my kids were all right. After all, I just heard a voice scream, "Please don't hurt me."
And you physically opened their door to enter their rooms?
Yes.
And you physically saw that they were, in your own words, sound asleep, right?
Yes, they were both fine.
You'd say this check on both of your kids took more than several seconds, right?
That's true.
That's when you went back to the center of the hallway, correct?
Yes, by this time I was rushing. I knew it had to be my mother in danger rather than the 2 kids.
And you'd agree that that took another second or 2?
Yes, which is why I was rushing.
Then you watched Chris Pavano walking across your great room downstairs, right?
I saw him standing over my mother.
You go as far to say he was several feet away, right?
Yes, but seemed to be holding a rifle, and as you know, rifles can shoot several feet.
Regardless, he was still several feet away when you saw him inching closer.
Appeared to be holding a rifle, yes he was.
Despite all that time you had that night with several seconds of checking on your kids, you never had time to turn on the lights that night, right?
No, my first priority is to make sure my family is safe.
You claim you couldn't tell. It was Chris Pavano down there, right?
No, it was too dark.
But hadn't you, just a few minutes earlier, seen and distinguished that your mother was down there?
I believe I explained how I distinguished it was my mother down there prior to this.
And when you distinguished your mother, the only lights in that house came from the moon, right?
Yes, but I explained that it wasn't necessarily the lighting that allowed me to distinguish her.
Regardless, you could distinguish her.
Because that's where I left her, yes.
When you were on those steps, watching Chris Pavano downstairs,
I wasn't on those steps, I was at the top of the steps.
regardless, You were watching Chris Bavano, pulled out your Glock 17, right?
Yes, I wanted to protect my mother. He seemed to be holding a rifle pointed at her.
The first thing you did was fire a shot at Chris Bavano, right?
Yes, I thought he was about to fire at her.
You didn't take a warning shot first, right?
I didn't have time.
You didn't just decide to fire a warning shot before checking on your kids?
No, I thought they might be the ones in danger, so I wanted to check on them first.
In fact, you didn't even look downstairs where you heard that scream come from, as you stated.
I wanted to check on my kids first. I wanted to make sure they weren't the ones screaming.
So your first priority was to go away from who you stated was your mother screaming, right?
Yes, because I'm sorry, but I'm a mother. There are feelings that a mother has towards her kids that overrule any other emotions that you have towards anyone else. I prioritize the safety of all my family, but especially my children.
Your mother was the one screaming, right?
Yes, but my
Your
kids
mother
could
was
also be in danger.
downstairs. Your mother was
Your Honor,
downstairs.
please direct opposing counsel to let my witness finish.
Your Honor, the question was answered.
Yeah, but if you're not going to just solicit a yes or a no, you can't cut the witness off. Objection sustained.
Thank you.
Your mother was downstairs, right?
Yes, she was. However, my kids could also be in danger. I don't know who is in my house and where at the time. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Brad, go on.
After the shot that you fired, you decided not to call 911, right?
No, I did not. I told Remy to call her.
You didn't yourself pick up that phone, dial 911, and say, "I shot Chris Bavano," right?
No, I told Remy to call the police and let them know what happened.
You didn't physically watch Remy calling the police, right?
No, I went to open the door.
You didn't physically watch Jada calling the police either, right?
No, I did not, as I had told Remy to call the police.
In fact, you didn't see anyone in your house at night call 911.
No, I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Witnesses excused. You need time before you do closings?
Yes, Your Honor, a brief recess.
Okay. Yeah.
I can get no signal. I need to text my mom.
Someone will need. Doesn't matter.